Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of Brotherly Differences, where we debate with accuracy, facts, and stats. Y'all, we getting comfortable with this thing. We back at it again. This is about to be episode 5, and we appreciate y'all being here with us. So we got another full show today. I'm Rod. I'm going to introduce myself. It's good to be back talking to the people again.
What up, world? This Mike. We ready to get into some real topics. I'm about to, hopefully I can disagree with Rod so I can embarrass him on camera. Not on camera, I mean on the mics. You know.
Yeah, y'all know that ain't gonna happen. He ain't even sound confident saying that. So,
I said the camera.
You know, yeah, talking about the camera, you mean on the mics. But yeah, y'all, we back again. We got some basketball today. We got a few football topics. We got some basketball versus football type of thing. And then we got the stop it and go section. You know, we got the real talk section. We talking about everything, y'all, today. We talking about sports. We even talking about the weed, the marijuana, and that's going to be in the real talk section. We talking about the quarantine. So, yeah, we got a full show, so let's just jump right on into it and start with some of the debates that y'all been hearing on social media, on the platforms of Undisputed, First Take, wherever you've been hearing them at. I've been hearing a lot of chatter going around about who led the greatest dynasty in the last couple decades. It was a question going up between was the better dynasty MJ's Bulls or Tom Brady's Patriots. Now, we know football and basketball are two different sports, but we're just saying from a dominance standpoint, you know, from a dominance level, like when you watch that sport compared to that sport or compared to basketball, just over your definition of domination, who led the more dominant dynasty, MJ with the Bulls or Tom Brady with the Patriots? Mike, you can start this off.
See, for me, it was tough because, like I said, like you said, NFL and NBA is two different sports. NFL, it is probably harder to win the Super Bowl. It's harder to put a team together and stuff. And one player, don't get me wrong, certain players do matter, but one player can't take over a game offensively and defensively. So it's like, it was tough, but I'm going to go with the Jordan's Bulls just because 2-3 pieces tough and 6 rings in 8 years, you just can't beat that. And NBA, I'm not saying it's easy to win titles, but like I said, one player can have more of an effect on the title. So I'm going to go with 96 Bulls. And another reason I won't put the Patriots because I know you're going to bring this up. They did go 10 years without winning the Super Bowl. So, but I do agree with Max Kellerman. 20 years of dominance is still crazy. 6 and 20 years is crazy, but I think the Bulls were just more dominant. They ran a decade basically. Some people said they could have won 8 in a row. I think they probably won 7 rings out of this because I think they win in 94 and maybe lose in 95 and then refresh and three-peat. But I definitely think they definitely would have won 7 of 8 rings. But, man, I'm going to go with the Bulls. Like I said, 6 rings in 8 years is tough. And 2 three-peats. There's only been 5 three-peats in NBA history, and 2 of them come from the Bulls. Actually, there's been 6 three-peats if you count the Celtics 8 in a row. But, well, what's your take on this? Who's the greatest dynasty? Well, who led the greatest dynasty? Michael Jordan and Tom Brady.
See, these topics for me is kind of boring in a way, y'all. I love to turn up when my brother say blasphemous things. But he actually didn't say, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He actually didn't say anything blasphemous in this one. I do agree. All right, people, we back now. We just had some technical difficulties, some issues with the sound, but we back now. As I was saying before we was really interrupted, with the takes Mike usually be saying is blasphemous. But on this take, I actually agree with him on this topic. This time he wasn't blasphemous. When it comes to the greatest franchise of all time, I got to go with Michael Jordan's Bulls because the main thing for me is they won more championships in a small period of time, which answers the question to me that they were more dominant. They won 6 titles in 8 years. The Patriots won 6 over 20, but like you had mentioned already, and like a lot of other people have mentioned, they went a 10-year lapse without winning a title at all.
That's the big part for me.
Yeah, and that's a huge part. The Bulls also went 6 for 6, and 5 of those 6 titles, they won 60-plus games. The one thing I also got to take into account with basketball, especially this run for the Bulls, is it's already an 82 game season, and they was going on these long runs. So the Bulls played over 100 games in those seasons, arguably. So they almost played 1,000 games just from those seasons alone. So that's impressive within itself, and then to maintain some of the stats they maintain, to, like I said, keep winning 60 games year in and year out. We know what Michael Jordan did individually, but for them to do what they did as a team on top of that is just greatness. And I mean, some people bring up they did win 50-plus games without Jordan, even too. So I got to say that Bulls team is the greater franchise, even though the Patriots did win 11 games without Brady. The Patriots was dominant, don't get me wrong, they was dominant. You had to go through them in the AFC to get to the Super Bowl. They was always competing for titles, but not winning those Super Bowls. Going to them, but not winning them. People kind of forgot about the dominance when you haven't won one since 2004, and then you won another one in 2014. So for that lapse, I gotta just go with the Bulls dynasty. I don't think we ever seen anything in sports like that in that small period of time, and I would argue that that's almost probably the greatest dynasty. Well,
when they're 8 in a row, it's still tough.
That is tough. I give it credit, but like I said, in the day of sports now, with a competition where there's a variety of competition, it's more versatile in the competition. The way the Bulls won versus those Celtics teams, that's the difference for me and those Celtics teams. I'm not taking nothing away that they did. I'm just saying the versatility in basketball and how it grew now, to me, is a little bit more impressive. That's all I got to say. But yeah, we agree on that topic because Jordan and led Bulls was just something different on both sides of the ball. And that's the thing. They brought it every time on both sides of the ball. There was years in there when New England was good because Tom Brady was saving them. Yeah, they won 12 games, 14 games, 13 games, 12 games. But that's why they was arguably struggling because they couldn't stop anybody. They was getting a lot of points, but they couldn't stop anybody. And the Bulls just did it on both sides of the ball. They wasn't the most complete team, but they played complete. So, yeah, with that topic, we gonna move on, and we gonna stay with this greatest train. It's not a greatest of all time show, but the first couple topics we're talking about the greatest. So, the next topic we're gonna do is the greatest college football team of all time. Now, I'll start this one off for us. Everybody know, they probably gonna think I got a little bias with this pick because I'm a big Florida Gator fan. All my people already know. They know the chant we do. Gator Nation, chop 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 chop. Gator Nation. They know what time it is. They know how we get. So with this question, the question is, people. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce the question. I'm so hyped up and talking about my Gators. But the question for this topic gonna be, who do you think is the greatest college football team of all time? I kind of gave away my hint there with telling y'all who my favorite team is, but I'm going to tell y'all which team and why now. I'm going to just go into it. But the greatest team of all time for me is my Florida Gators, the 2008 version, the second national title team. And I'm going to read off some quick facts that I got from my friends at NFL Sports Reference. We partner with them at Sport Radar. This is to the public so anybody can get these stats, but this is where we got them from. The 2008 Florida Gators, people, and let's not forget that they play in the SEC. Not the Big Ten, not the Pac-12, not the ACC, not the Big East. They play in the SEC.
Don't disrespect the
Big Ten. They play
in
the SEC, a real conference, okay, where every week is a madhouse. Every Saturday is a madhouse. Every Saturday is going down. So that 2008 Florida team, 13-1 overall, 7-1 in the ACC. They averaged 43.6 points per game, and they only allowed 12.9 points per game. Both of those was in the top 5 that year. They only allowed 180 points that season total on defense. They averaged over 440 yards per game. Tim Tebow threw 30 touchdowns, he had 4 interceptions, over 2,500 yards, and added 12 rushing touchdowns. Arguably one of the greatest quarterback seasons in college football history. And not to only mention that Florida Gators team had 25 players that went after that year and got drafted to the NFL. An NFL roster or college football roster in general, people, is a 53-man roster. I'm going to say this again. 25 players from that team went on to get drafted, and I think they had about 10 or 11 of those players get drafted in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. That team on both sides of the ball is probably one of the most complete teams on that complete teams to ever grace the field of a college football field. We not even mention that Percy Harvin was a two-way player on that team. Offensively, he had 600 rushing yards with 10 touchdowns and 600 receiving yards with 7 touchdowns. So Percy Harvin was doing the thing too. So that team was just lethal. Aaron Hernandez chipped in with his 5 touchdowns. Louis Murphy led the team in receiving yards, and he had a solid little couple years in the NFL, but Louis Murphy was good in college. So, and then all the defensive players they had, from Reggie Nelson to Spikes to Jarvis Moss, the list goes on and on and on with that Gators team. But I'm not being biased, and then they won a national championship. They bottled Sam Bradford and up 24-14. We took the number 8 Georgia team that year. They sold 49-10 in Jacksonville, that game that we do yearly. So we was real. We was a force that year. Them Gators was a force. So Mike, who would you say was the greatest college football team of all time?
For me, I'm not mad at you picking 2008. We all know you biased with your teams and stuff, but like I said, 2008, Florida has a case. They had a lot of NFL players and stuff, but my team, I'm going to go with 2001 Miami Hurricanes. They averaged 42 points per game, and then they scoring defense was number 1 in the nation.
That's a point underneath my Gators, though. My Gators averaged 43.
No, I know. But
their defense was a little bit better. They only allowed 9 points. My Gators averaged 12.
Yes.
12.
Yes, that is true. Also, I'm going to go with the rank. How many ranked teams did Florida beat?
Let me look that up. Florida beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranked teams that year out of a 13-game schedule. They beat
Miami beat 7 ranked teams,
and the highest team they beat was the number 4 ranked LSU Tigers. We beat them 51-21.
Oh, okay. They beat number 14 Syracuse 59-0. But
and
Miami beat 7 ranked.
We beat number 8 opponents. Georgia 49-10. But I mentioned that.
But yeah, they my team because, like I said, Florida won that championship, but they beat Nebraska in the national championship. Nebraska was the number 2 team, I think, that year. And also, I'm gonna go by the roster too. Even though rosters doesn't always the best roster doesn't always win in college.
We beat South Carolina 56-6 too. Oh, my bad.
But man, Ken Dorsey was a good college quarterback. He was good for Miami. But man, they had Clinton Portis went to NFL, Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Jared Payton. I don't know who that is. But they had Andre Johnson, Daryl Jones, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow.
Jared Payton, that's a running back, ain't it?
Yep, Brian McKinney, man, like the offensive line. Come on, man. They had Jeremy Shockey, Wilson Wilfork. Like, this team was stacked. They had like 25 NFL players. William Joseph.
They had some great names, but I mean,
this is the best college team of all time.
But if I go to some names on this team, people forget it. I'm not going to even say him because he didn't do much with this team. But Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, Chris Rainey,
Cam Newton was on that team.
Brandon James.
But don't use Cam Newton.
I said that I'm not going to use him. Brandon James, Louis Mercy, Percy Harvin, David Nelson, Riley Cooper, Deontay Thompson.
They was kind of stacked too, low.
Aaron Hernandez, Marquise Pouncey, and then the other Pouncey brother, Mike Pouncey, was on that team. He just didn't go to the NFL after that year, so that's why he don't got the label. But he in the NFL. Jermaine Cunningham, Caleb Sturgis, who else they had? Carlos Dunlap, who's still in the NFL right now, who won a sack master for the Cincinnati Bengals. Really? Brandon Spikes.
Y'all did have a squad.
Joe Hayden, the lockdown corner. Janoris Jenkins, major right, who played for your Bears. Will Hill, who is safety for the Saints. That's what I'm saying, dude. The list goes on and on. So when we talk about
Miami NFL players were better.
Stop. Joe Hayden is the lockdown corner for one of the best.
Played for the Browns.
Now he played for the Pittsburgh.
He with the Steelers.
But one of the top corners in the league. What are you talking about? One of the Pouncey brothers.
I'm looking at other
some
lists.
Of the best linemen.
ESPN. I looked at. It doesn't mean nothing, but I looked at ESPN, Bleacher Report, and U.S. Sporting News. None of them had Florida in the top 10. 2 of them hit Nebraska number 1. Nebraska averaged 95. Nebraska averaged 53 points per game. They had the hardest schedule in the country.
That's crazy. They disrespected my Gators.
They averaged 53 points a game.
How many yards did Miami average that year total on offense?
Miami that year, let's see. Hold on, I'm going to go to it quick. But right, Nebraska, 95, Nebraska averaged 53 a game.
Okay, my Gators averaged 43.6 points per game.
53 is better than
How many points did they allow?
They allowed, I think that. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, we allow 12.9 points per game. So
And they allowed 14 points per game.
I mean,
But
that's
they
solid.
averaged 10 more points. But Miami averaged, let's see.
Tim Tebow was the better quarterback.
They averaged 42 points per game, and their defense only allowed 10 points per game. That defense was no joke with Ed Reed. Oh my God!
Yeah, but I'm
Philson
saying what was
Wentworth
they,
in the middle.
I want to see what they how many yards they got per game, because like I said, we was dominant on both sides.
Now
of the
we going
ball.
to the yards.
I want to see how many yards per game they got. That's all. I was just looking at that. I wasn't just deeming it up.
This
I
topic.
I just meant offensively. I wanted to see, because that's my point about the Gators.
Oh,
they was kind of
yards.
like the Bulls. They was elite offensively and they was elite defensively.
How many yards they averaged?
445 yards per game on offense.
There was no joke.
And they only allowed 12.9 points per game. So
Miami,
it's not like
wait, how much y'all average?
they averaged 445 yards per game.
Miami averaged 454 yards per game.
Okay, so they had a nice little offense. They did have some running backs, and we averaged just as much. We averaged more rushing yards.
That's what's. I'm not mad at you picking 08, but they disrespected that. They disrespected 08 Florida. They went in top 10 for Bleacher Report or ESPN or for Sporting News.
Well, that's cool. But like I said, the field proved that we number one. To me, if you looked on the field from just what we had from an overall standpoint, the versatility, what we did on that, with the speed that we had on that field on both sides of the ball. Oh my God, that second.
I like Miami roster better. I like Miami roster
Major
better.
Wright, Joe Hayden, Reggie Nelson. That's arguably one of the best secondaries.
Nebraska averaged 53 points per game, but only averaged 400 yards per game.
Okay, I mean they was. I mean.
Wait. That's my bad. That is my bad. I'm tripping. That was rushing. They averaged 400 rushing yards per game. Nebraska. That was my bad.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, look, they was dominant. Nebraska in the early 2000s, when we started watching college football, they was dominant. But like I said, they wasn't winning national titles like that. They won a few national titles.
Nebraska won national title.
They wasn't winning. They didn't win on the level of my Gators, and they didn't have as many players go to the NFL as my Gators did.
Yeah, they didn't have as many players go to the NFL
in one season. So I'm not going to go there with the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who is now a Big Ten joke.
They are, but man, 95 they may be the best team of all time. But what's the next topic though?
We'll have to watch some film on that to see that for another day. But Gator Nation, chop 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 chop. Remember that. All right, next topic. We're gonna go to the hardwood here, y'all. And this is not a question about stats or nothing. It's just about, I've been hearing a lot of talk about the NBA season might resume in the late summer. It might. They said before resume, they possibly gonna have 25 days worth of training camp. And I've been seeing a lot of reports and seeing a lot of people talk about it. I just want to ask the question because I'm kind of at grips with it. I don't know how I feel about if they start a new season or not. Basically, the question I want to ask you, Mike, and I want you to kind of start off with it, is if they do start the season back up, say hypothetically they start the season back up, right? We get a season, and then we get like the last 10, 15, 20 games being played. And then they get to the playoffs, they do the playoffs, and then we get a championship winner. Do you think that this year's championship winner would be legit, or would it be an asterisk by it? The reason, asterisk. This is why I asked that question. Would it be legit because we had a season, a little bit of a layoff for the All-Star game, which is scheduled, but then we had this layoff, and then we'll come back at it again. So do you think it would be legit to say, oh, this team really won the title, or do you think it'll be an asterisk by it because you can say, well, this team got rest, this team got out of the rhythm? What do you think would happen if somebody won a championship this year, would continue the league? And do you think at this point the league should even continue?
For me, there'll be no asterisk. I don't care who wins the title. I don't care if the Lakers win. The reason I say that is because everybody getting this long rest. I know certain teams getting rest, and people think, oh, they get to get a nice rest. Some teams lose rhythm. Like Lakers they just beat the Bucks and Clippers, two of the top teams in the NBA. They lost to the Nets their last game before the coronavirus. Before they can't suspended the season. But to me, everybody got the same amount of rest. I know some teams lose rhythm, but hey, that's what it is. If they start the season back, I hope they can finish the season, get 10 days of training camp, because even they don't even get 10 days of training camp, 10 straight days, and get back in shape and stuff. I don't think they need a long training camp because training camp not that long before the season. They get preseason games, but let them finish the season, the last 18 games, 15 to 18 games for some teams, and go into the playoffs. There will be no asterisk to me because you'll finish the season and you'll have the playoffs. So to me, I definitely think people will make excuses. If Lakers don't win, people like they was the best team, they was the hottest team, they lost rhythm, and if like Kawhi and them lose, people go say, oh they messed up their rhythm and stuff. People gonna make excuses no matter what. But to me, I don't care who wins. No excuses.
See, at first that was my take. I was more like 90-10. No excuses, no asterisk. Championship winner, we giving them credit. It's legit. Book it. But lately, the longer that this thing stays out, I've been kind of swaying a little bit more. I would say I'm like 51-49 now, where I would say it'll be legit.
Stop it.
I would say it would be legit, but my thing is, not depending on who win the title, you never know how this thing come out. Say if the Grizzlies take this break and the Grizzlies get to the conference finals.
Okay.
I'm just saying some people would say that, man, that break kind of killed the floor of some of these older veteran teams. And I'm not saying that that's as an excuse. I'm just saying this is something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah. Every team had the same break.
And my thing is this. It's not so much about the break. So many people talking about the break, but my thing is this. Say if the season does start back up in June, right? And it goes for another month and a half to 2 months. That means that the season wouldn't be over until about July, August. So what does that mean for this next season coming up? That's what I'm saying.
I would say
everything is going to boil over to more of just an excuse. It's going to be like, is it legit for the next year?
Yeah. To me, I think they need to do what they did in 2011-12 season. Started on Christmas and play 66 games. To me, that the 99 Spurs and the 12 Heat, I give them credit for them titles. Like,
so you said next year started around Christmas.
Start the season around Christmas. If they go to August, September, start the season around Christmas and play 66 games like the 2012 season. To me, that's what they should do. Hopefully, they can start back in June and stuff. I don't think it's gonna be hard to start back. They're not about to let people go to arenas in June.
Now that you did that plan, that's cool, and that's what I'm saying.
That's what they should do. I hope they do that.
We don't know where this thing is gonna go, and sadly, we don't know what it is and what's going on.
They may cancel the season though. You think they're gonna let people come back?
Well, my thing is that's the thing. That's also what I'm saying. What if they play what if they do what the NBA was talking about doing, which is taking all the teams like Arizona and just playing quick games like rapid tournament style games so they can get the season back.
That is
so what I'm saying is that's like a summer camp feel. So that's what I'm saying. It all depends on how we get the league back. If the league can come back as everything is, if stuff just happens to get better over the next month and a half, then that wouldn't be the worst thing. And then plan, I actually would agree with that. Okay, 66 games the next year because we've done that before.
And started at Christmas,
and people forget that happened with the 2012 Heat, and people forget that happened.
I give them credit for that title.
We still count that. So yeah, we could do the 66
games. I count the 99
games.
Spurs title.
Yeah, I count both of them. So we can still do that, and we can still do those games. But that's like everything has to be legitimately on point and ready.
Now I do agree. It's gonna be tough. It is gonna be tough though with the.
So that's why I'm saying I'm more on the field because it all depends on the circumstances of how we get these games and how they being played because that matters.
I hope everything get back to normal in June. People can come to the games and we just start the season back from where they left off. They get 10 days of training camp. They only get a week for training camp before preseason games start when the season starts. So they don't need 10 days. Some of them still working out. If you get out of shape, that's your fault. Give them a week for training camp and start the games back because you will have 18 games before the playoffs and everybody will be back in shape. That's why they should start right in the playoffs.
And I know we was talking about this earlier off air. But do you think that if they do cancel season hypothetically, you were saying earlier we were talking about this off air that you think they should count these stats? Do you really think that they should count the stats? You think they should count the stats?
Yes, I think they should. I heard the bylaws. They're going to the bylaws don't count the stats. I heard the bylaws don't count the stats because if you cancel the season, you can't count those stats. I think that's BS. You need to count these stats. Give somebody MVP. Give somebody the scoring title. It just won't be a champion. But
yeah, because like you said, we played 66 games. Some
teams
was at like 65 games. So those stats should count. Yeah. We played enough games for those stats to count. That would be a bummer if those stats didn't count.
If they cancel, LeBron would be past Kobe now. He'd have to do it. He'd be 36 next year. So I think they should count the stats. The NBA shouldn't.
And James Harden would have won his third scoring title.
Yeah, they need to count the stats.
Giannis probably would have got back-to-back MVP. So, yeah, I mean,
AD probably got Defensive Player of the Year.
I think they should count the stats as well, too, even if they do cancel season. But for me, it's all about timetable. If they can do this thing in a timely manner and we can get close to status quo as we can, then legit. But if we got to modify things and stuff start to get a little bit tricky, I think that's when I would start to say, okay, maybe let's just wait till next year till we could really crown a champion.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Which sucked because this was the most variety of teams that had a shot at winning. This was the closest that it's been where it was the most teams at the start of the season that people felt had a legit chance to win instead of just 2 or 3 teams. And then we had this happen 3/4 through the season, which is a bummer. So
I'm hoping end of May training camp, start season back in June, playoffs start more towards the mid. But the main thing,
we just hope everybody healthy, stay safe, and then we can get ready for a season so we can have some healthy fans, healthy players, and like I said, get this stuff back to status quo.
Players gonna be fresh. Players gonna be fresh too.
All right, we're going to stay with the hardwood. This next topic, we talking about a couple young guns here that's just scratching the surface. One of them 26 and the other one 22. And they both great players in their own right, but y'all know in the world of sports what we do.
Pascal 26?
Pascal Siakam, he'll be 26. And you know what we going to do. So this is what we do, man. This motivates players, and this is what they play the game for. So, I know a lot of players sometimes hate when y'all about to hear what the next question is. Like, why y'all got to do this? Why y'all just can't give them both credit? They both great players, but we need to I want to get this out there because this is an interesting topic to me that was introduced to me that I had to really think about. But who do you think is the better leader? Pascal Siakam or Jason Tatum? Or who's the better player for now and the future? Siakam or Tatum? Who would you take?
I believe it or not, man, I love both of them. I would take Tatum, believe it or not. I think Tatum has had the better career. I definitely think he has had the better career. Siakam got in the league 16, 17 years. Tatum got in 17, 18. And I think Siakam has developed into something nice. I think Tatum is better as of now. Siakam has caught him though. They're both averaging 23 a game this year. They both averaging 23 a game. The Raptors are a little bit better than the Celtics. But both of them are playing with a nice team, and I would love to see this in the series. But right now, I'm going to go with Jason Tatum is a little bit better than Siakam, but I do think Siakam can be better. They both averaged 23.6 points per game this year, and man, I definitely think we'll see. We just got to let time tell because they're both great upcoming players coming up in the East too. And can win a championship. And Siakam already got a championship, but I'm talking about as a leader, they both can win a championship. So I'm interested to see who you think better.
Well, you did mention something interesting at the end. As a leader, they both can win a championship. Because I was going to say, Siakam did win the championship, but Siakam was arguably the Robin to that championship.
He was a Robin.
So that was his third year in the league. And from where he came from, that was a big jump. See, Jason Tatum came into the league with some hype on him already, supposedly getting in the league. And like you said, both this year, their stats are very identical. Both averaging 23.6 points per game. Rebounds is right around the same per game. So in that respects, they both looking equal. But I know this is going to shock a lot of people, but I would take Pascal Siakam. The reason I'm taking Pascal Siakam is because he's 6'9". I like his motor, and I like the fact that he doesn't give up. And I like the fact that he's an underrated away from the basket player. He's actually a lot more skilled than people give him credit for.
Great defender.
And yeah, he's a good defender. And right now, quiet as kept, he's leading the Raptors to a 46-16 record. Pascal Siakam, like I said, last year,
he has missed some games too.
He's missed a few games, but like I told people last year, when you look at that finals, Kawhi Leonard kind of shot away a few games, and he played in 53 games this year, so he missed about 10 to 12 games. But Kawhi shot away in a few games, and Pascal Siakam seems like he just got a spot for the bright lights. And it's not by much that I got him over Tatum, because I do like Tatum's progression every year that he's been in the league, 13, 15 to 23. It's just Siakam started off lower with 4, 7, 16, then 23. So I like both. But last year, one thing that made me kind of cringe about Tatum is that playoff series versus the Bucks. I mean, it dropped his playoff average to 15. The first year he was at 13. For playoffs, the first year he was at 18, and last year he dropped down to 15. So he decreased in the playoffs. As I saw Siakam get better in the playoffs. Last year in the playoffs, he averaged 15 points per game. He had a bad series versus the Bucks. A lot of people was talking about Kyrie. Well, I saw when they put Antetokounmpo on him or they put Middleton on him, a team with a little bit more size, and Tatum wasn't able to be the bully or the advantage of a matchup. I saw him struggle. So Jason Tatum kind of, in a way, has a little bit more to prove because he does play a little bit more guard style than Siakam, and he tries to play that tweener role. But every time when he has to play that guard style, I think he kind of struggles in a little bit. Where Pascal Siakam last year versus that same Bucks team, his 6'9" length with that wingspan helped him out a little bit, and he was even another body you could throw at Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm not saying he could stop Giannis Antetokounmpo, but he could he's a body that you could put on Giannis. Where I don't think Tatum could do anything with Giannis Antetokounmpo at all at this point in his career.
That's true. See, you could put him on.
I think that Siakam, if you ask me right now at 26 and Tatum is only 22, I would take Pascal Siakam because I think with the right nucleus around him, I think if you was a team Pascal Siakam up, you saw what you did with Kawhi Leonard. If you team him up with a nice 3 or a nice guard, that could be a nice little 1-2 punch that you got for years to come. Solid years to come.
Man, I
just like his versatility. I've watched him play a little bit more this year. I've seen a few Raptors games based on when I was at work. I had a couple Raptors games that was covered. It was a Knicks. I know it was versus the Knicks, but Julius Randle is a versatile, good player to me. And Pascal Siakam did a good job defending him. And then on the offensive end, Pascal Siakam was just, it looked like he was a man amongst boys. And I was like, man, that's crazy how this dude just progressed out of nowhere. And that's probably why I got him over Tatum, because I feel like his progression jump was just bigger. And then now he's on the scene. I feel like he's something to be reckoned with.
They both was all-stars this year also.
So, yeah, I like Siakam, but that's not the sexy pick. Like I said, he's not going to be on the sports center that much.
I think a lot of people pick him.
But what I mean is he don't be on sports center that much. He's not going to make as many flashy plays as Tatum. He's not as skilled as Tatum because, like I said, Tatum can play guard play too. But
Tatum bag is getting nice.
Siakam just gets the job done. He really gets the job done.
What you think their ceilings are like? What player you think is Tatum's ceiling? Kobe or McGrady? Is Siakam a McGrady?
I'm still in the middle with Tatum. Siakam is more like Siakam already got one title, but Siakam is kind of like a KG to me. Or maybe Siakam could low-key be a Tim Duncan-ish type player. Where at first, you think he got the skill. Tim Duncan came in, right? But Siakam could kind of be
Duncan got first team All-NBA his rookie year.
Siakam could kind of probably be the type to win 3 NBA titles where people didn't believe that. And I see him getting the finals MVP.
Defensively, he better than Tatum, too.
He got most improved last year. I can see him getting the finals MVP. And like I said, with the versatility, with the versatility that he has, I really like his
I can say Tatum get the season MVP.
I really like his style of game.
Tatum could get season MVP to me.
I mean, Siakam could too. In a way,
I don't. Maybe.
Raptors 46-14 winning games, and he averaging 23.6. He's right there. I mean, he was shooting 45% from the field. He was shooting 35% from the three. 6'9". That's not bad at all. So I mean, PR is a little low, but still, I'm not big on that. You know what I'm saying? So
PR, yeah,
leading them, like I said, a lot of people love PR. Second seed in the East, and the Raptors just play tough. They play hard, and that's why I like his motor. He play tough. He play hard. So
yeah, you can't go wrong. I like Tatum's ceiling better. I think Tatum offensive bag is no joke at 22.
Yeah, he is only 22. Tatum is only 22. Like I said, it's close. But yeah, if I had to pick, I would take Siakam.
I wanted to take Siakam. It's close to me, but what's the next topic?
All right, yeah, we talking about some more greatness, or it all depends on who you talking to. All right, so the next topic we talking about here, we're gonna go to college basketball now. We had a college football topic, and we're gonna talk about college basketball. And this topic sparked from the other night. I was chilling during this quarantine, and on ESPN Plus, they got all these 30 for 30s. And I happened to watch the Deion Sanders one, and then the second one I watched was a rewatch because it's one of my favorite ones. I watched that Fab Five documentary.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that Fab Five documentary. I love that one. That was pretty dope. So this question came from me watching that over the last couple days here. I want to get your take on this because after watching it, I kind of started looking up some articles about it, just looking up some videos about them in that time, just to kind of see because they had swag. They brought a different flavor to the game. But I want to ask you, because I think a lot of people do talk about them as if they one of the greatest or greater teams to play. Do you think that was because of the swag, or do you think that was because of the actual play on the court? Do you see the Fab Five as being an underrated team on the court through their accomplishments or their non-accomplishments of not winning a national title? Or do you think that they get the credit that they deserve and that they do? What would you say?
I do think they're an underrated team, but
you think they're overrated?
No,
I mean, do you think they're overrated?
See, for me, you can make a case of them being both overrated and underrated because we as fans, we tend to act like once time is gone, we appreciate the team more, so we forget at the time what they were. They didn't win a national championship. They did lose 2 national championships. Like, they were great. Don't get me wrong. I think they're underrated. People need to give them more respect. But the reason they're so celebrated is because they did have the swag. They did have a big influence on a college team had influence on like how players start wearing longer shorts, the black socks, and get down to the high school kids. So that's where their influence come in. But they were very good. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like if somebody said they're overrated, I will agree because they didn't win that championship, but they did go to 2 straight. So I'm not saying they weak, but what I'm saying is you can make a claim that they're both overrated and underrated. I'm going to go with underrated because they were really good as freshmen and as sophomores going to 2 national championships, and they had a big influence. So, but as time go on, we tend to overrate people and overrate teams. You appreciate them more once they're gone. So, what's your opinion on it?
I will say this. I get what you're saying when you say you would agree with both people because the one caveat in this whole thing is they did not win a Big Ten title in the regular season. They went 3rd place in the first year and 2nd place.
Did they win the tournament? Did they win
the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah.
Let's see here. It don't tell us if they won the Big Ten tournament. No, it don't tell us on here. We just have to say they were 3rd in the Big Ten, and then the next year they were 2nd in the Big Ten. The one thing I will say about Michigan is I don't think they was overrated or underrated. I think they are celebrated as is. They need to be celebrated because they was one of the better teams. And people got to also understand that we're not talking about Michigan, and we can't talk about the 91, 92, 93 Michigan Wolverines and talk about them and put them in today's context. Because now today, what I mean by that is today we see in college where freshmen come in right away and start. But the one reason why I say Michigan is slightly underrated, why they even deserve the credit they deserve, if not a little bit more, because what Michigan did was the first time people saw that. People didn't see 5 freshmen come in and start. They didn't even get to start right away. People never even seen that because Steve Fisher didn't start them all until the season was almost over.
To February, yeah.
The first time he started all 5 of them was in February. That they all 5 appeared on the court. Then he said that's when it took off. And they finished that year 25-9. Went to the national championship as a 6th seed. So what I'm saying is the reason why I think they deserve more credit is because all the one and dones we see now, the reason why people even have the trust in that, the reason why people even have the cockiness in that, the confidence in that, is because the way that the Fab Five came on the scene.
Oh yeah, real quick. Tournament champs didn't start until 97-98 season. I forgot about that.
Okay,
the
Fab Five came on and gave coaches and ADs more confident that you could start all these freshmen and cockiness that these freshmen could be responsible and that these freshmen could be in game pressure, because they did in the season. People forget that they played Duke pretty close that game and lost in overtime. And I mean, if you look at the stats, they had 5 players in the top 50, all the 5 in the top 50 that they recruited that year, and they all showed up. Jalen Rose the first year averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in college. Chris Webber averaged 15 and 10. Juwan Howard 11 and 6. Jimmy King 9. Ray Jackson was the 4, 6 and 3, and Eric Riley was 6 and 4. Ray Jackson was the low point, but if you look at the next year. If we go ahead and look at this next year, Chris Webber 19 and 10. Those are all American numbers, and people forgetting that these are sophomores. Back then, you saw people. Christian Laettner was a senior the year before.
It was a big deal back then.
So he was a senior.
Because there wasn't a lot of one and done.
And they was freshmen. And like I tell people now, even the one and dones. That's why you don't see a lot of these one and done teams win it, because in college they're still playing against 23 and 24-year-old men. Like in high school, yeah, they was dominant, but next year in college, like Jalen Suggs and them, they're going to be playing against men that's like 23, that's stronger than them, that's physically ready.
It's only a select few.
It's only a select few, but what I'm saying is if you get a team of 23-year-olds that's been in college for years, and they all on the team, and it's their senior year, then they got one player who's like 19 who's pretty solid, they can be the top 5 or top 5 freshmen, because like I said, when it comes down to experience, when it comes down to know-it-all, they can play on their level already, but they already have the 3 to 4 year experience over them. That's why you don't see a lot of one and dones win now. I mean, they be competitive, but they don't just come in winning now, even though they go to the NBA and they have good careers, or they come
only
in
one
and
of
take
Calipari's
off.
Perry's team won the
That's
Anthony
my
Davis
point.
year.
And
Roseman lost.
And Melo won, and Cousin them didn't even make it to the Final Four. So that's what I'm trying to say. They lost to a West Virginia team.
Zion and them didn't even make it to the Final Four.
They lost to a West Virginia team that was more veteran like than them. And that next year, like I said, Chris Webber averaged 19 to 10. Jalen Rose averaged 15. Juwan Howard went up from 11 to 14. Jimmy King got in double figures, went from 9 to 10.8. And Ray Jackson went from 4 to 9. So that next year they got better. But then they lost to North Carolina. And we know what Chris Webber did. But they beat the 1 seed on the way there. They beat Temple. They beat George Washington. They beat UCLA. So they was battle tested that year. They was 31-5. That second year they got better. They was 15-3, second in the Big Ten. Went from third to second. So they got better. But I really think that they is the start of why we trust young people and why we even give freshmen the keys to a whole university right away. I think they was the start of that. Then with the swag they brought on to the scene was just uncanny.
Their influence was big. Was big.
And we already know that. So yeah, I think that documentary did them well, that 30 for 30, and I really think that you can see them as both underrated and overrated, but I think for the time and the context that they played in, if you look at it from our lens, yeah, you can see them as overrated and underrated. But if we take them in their time and their context, I think that they deserve the credit they deserve, if not a little bit more, because they started what we see today.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what I just said. That's how I feel. But y'all, we on this little basketball train. Why not stick with it, man? They took basketball away from us, so y'all, we heavy on it today. And what we're going to talk about next here is this going to be an interesting topic, because I know a lot of people feel some way about this topic, and then a lot of people don't feel a way about this topic because they like, oh, it's just clear cut and dry who reigns at this. So my question in this topic was basically, if everybody is healthy, we're not talking about right now, we're not talking about last year, we're talking about right now, today. If every NBA player that's currently playing, not in the past, not in the 90s, not in the early 2000s, today, playing, who would you say is the best scorer in the NBA? Mike, do you want to start with this, or do you want me to start with this?
I'm going to let you start. Go ahead.
Okay, it was close. Because for me, it came down to 3 people, but then I narrowed it down to 2. The 3 people that came down to me was KD and Harden. And people know how I feel about KD when it comes to his scoring range. But over the last few years, how I started to feel about James Harden. If you ask me, I would say the best scorer in the NBA is James Harden. Because James Harden could give you a more versatile way of scoring. Yes, KD is a 7-foot sniper who could shoot, who could get to the bucket, who could put the ball on the floor, who could hit it from 30, who could do whatever you want him to do with his back to the basket. But James Harden, and I'm gonna tell y'all what my criteria is for this, because James Harden can give you versatility from the outside to the inside. Not only that, you have to worry about his lethal vision, the passing ability he has to get others involved and get them going, so you don't get them hitting threes from the corner again, alley-oops on top of your head, and then being able to just get to the bucket so smoothly and so effortlessly is it's mind-boggling me how easily he gets to the rack time and time again. But the one thing I will say is this: when you take on that scoring load and doing everything else as well as being a leader for your team, I don't think another player is more durable in today's basketball than James Harden, and that's why I have him as being the best scorer, because I feel like if I needed you to score 35 for a season and not get hurt and sustain it, I think it could be James Harden. KD has showed us that he's broken down a couple times, even like now. Steph Curry has broken down a couple times. And I will say this: James Harden is not only doing unprecedented things, he's doing things that KD's never done. KD's averaged 30 twice in the season, got 4 scoring titles, but That's why if they don't cancel stats this year, James Harden will be on his way to his third straight scoring title. KD did win 3 straight at one point, but KD never averaged over 35 points per game. James Harden averaged 30.4, 36.1, and then some people say, well, how can he get better from 36.1? Well, he came back with 34.4 with 7 assists and 6 rebounds, just like he did last year, 36, 6, and 7. So this dude is just a magician with the ball. When he averaged 29, he had 11 assists, and he could have won the scoring title that year, but Westbrook just snatched it right from him. James Harden is a scoring magician. I think he's one of the best scorers since Kobe and Jordan, and he's right up there with KD. KD was a better scorer than him if you ask me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, but over the last 8 years, James Harden has averaged 29.6 points per game. KD has averaged 27.4 points per game over the last 8 years. So for me, I gotta say it's James Harden by a hair.
Okay, people. A lot of people are going to disagree with you. I'm going to agree with you, but I will disagree with the part where you say he's a more versatile scorer than KD. I don't agree with that. KD's more versatile. KD has a mid-range 3. He can get to the hole also. KD will post. Harden won't post. KD can get you on the elbow. So I think he's a more versatile scorer. But the reason I'm going to say James Harden is a better scorer now, all time, KD's a better scorer than Harden. Harden's to me maybe a top 10 scorer, but KD's number 3. He's top 5 and could possibly get to 2 for sure. But right now, James Harden to me is a better scorer because, like I said, I know people say he in a better system. He in a system that allows him to score. He shoots more. His percentage is bad. KD's more efficient, but James Harden averaged 36 points per game. That's crazy. People don't understand. Like, yes, he shot 44%. He shot a lot of threes, but you shoot 30, averaging 36 is crazy. I don't care if people can say the system, but it's crazy. And like you say, the durability matters because if Curry and KD was in that and D'Antoni's system, would they be healthy? Like with that much usage and stuff, like people gotta understand that it ain't easy doing that. Don't get me wrong. You don't have to say Harden's the best scorer. If somebody say KD and you don't have to just look at the points per game because, like I said, it's more. If somebody say KD, I'm fine with that because he's a more versatile scorer. In the playoffs, his scoring average goes up. Harden's goes down slightly. And Harden percentages go down slightly, so I wouldn't be mad, but I'm going to go Harden because even last year he averaged 31 in the playoffs. People said he choked. He didn't choke. He shouldn't have lost in Game 6, but I don't think he choked. So that's what it for me. Like, Harden's the best scorer. I agree with that. Right now he is all time. No, but right now he is, man. You can't. Like I say, he averaged 34 this year. So yeah, I agree with you, man.
Yeah, his career highs are just higher. So I got Harden over KD, and I think if Harden had 1 or 2 more years of this, and if he get 2 more years of averaging 30, I think all time, to refute true, I think all time he would pass.
What do you have Harden? What do you have Harden all time scoring? I have him top 10.
Man, I got him top 10. I think I had him like 5th or 6th, arguably right there because you still got Iverson, KD, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem. So Harden's probably like 6.
Is Harden a better scorer than LeBron?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, I got him a better score. No, please don't even start that. I'm not even finna because
and let me
people
make
think
one,
I'm a
let me say
LeBron
one
hater. People think I'm a LeBron hater, so I'm not gonna even mention dude. But yeah,
I'm not even gonna get his. I just wanted to hear. But I'm also gonna say this: KD's a better player than Harden. I have KD ranked higher than Harden all the time. So just because I say Harden's a better scorer now,
well, yes,
KD's a better player.
KD is ranked over Harden all time.
Yes, KD's a better player for sure.
He was ranked over him before the rings, but part of that now has spiked up because KD did do what he did to get 2 of his rings. So
we're gonna talk
he's
about
better,
that another
but
day.
like I said, if Harden leads a Rockets team of this nature to a title and win it, he can
that will help Harden
KD level. Because,
and if he went with Westbrook,
yeah, he could be on KD's level. Because
KD left.
That's what I'm saying.
Couldn't win with him, and you better than Harden, my dude.
So yeah, James Harden got a lot to left to me. I think he'll get to 30,000.
It's close, like you said, though. And if somebody say KD, I wouldn't even argue.
I think James Harden is going to get to 30,000 points. He's at 20,723, so he's about 9,000 points away. I really think he could do that in the next 3 years. It's not crazy to think he can't do that.
So you think he'll get it? That's about
3,000 points a year.
Yeah, about no, he not get 3,000.
He get 2,500.
2,500, yeah.
Because he got 2,800. He had 2,000 this year.
Only 2 players ever got 3,000 in 1 year. Wilt did it twice. Jordan did it once.
He almost did it. 2,818.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But right, he gonna be probably in the 23 to 25 range for the next 4 years. Like, because
next year he
averaged 36 and he got 28. He got
next year he might get 3,000.
He gonna have to average like 38 points per game to get 3,000.
He had 2,800. He might get 3,000.
Jordan averaged 37 and got 300. So it's like it's gonna be hard to average 37.
3,000.
Nah,
that's why I say he's the best scorer in the NBA because he might get 3,000.
What's next? The real talk session next?
No.
Oh.
But yeah, the next section, the next.
Oh, I forget something to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me do this. I got this. No, I'm just playing. But no, yeah. So that that's how we gonna end the day with the main topics, the topics that we got into today. We ended today. Who's the best scorer in the league? But now we gonna move on to y'all know the new section. It's not gonna be new after we keep introducing it for a while. But this stop it or go on. I like it though, y'all. I like this. The quick
gonna
hitters.
sharpen it up too as time go on with the podcast.
I like the quick hitters that we do. 30 seconds to respond. Today we got a nice little load of questions coming at you. 5 load. I know y'all been watching y'all social media, so we just gonna get right into it. Even though we was just talking about the man, KD keep saying foolish comments in social media. One of the latest ones that he said, but he keep reiterating. He made comments that Kyrie Irving is a better player than Allen Iverson. He said the tape validates it and the stats validate it. Do you guys think that KD comments, Mike? Do you think that KD comments were valid? Would you say this is a stop it or go on?
Stop it, KD. Oh, you ready? Let me know. Oh, stop it, KD. Kyrie got a ring, but like I said, rings is not everything. Iverson is better than Kyrie. Iverson got the 4 scoring titles. He did lead the team to the finals. I don't think Kyrie's he hasn't shown me he's an MVP caliber player yet. So stop it, KD. Iverson's better than Kyrie. I will say Kyrie does have a better handle. To me, Kyrie is the GOAT handler. So I will that if KD want to say that, yes. But better player, no. Iverson was better than Kyrie. Kyrie can pass him, but Iverson better. What do you say?
I would have Iverson over Kyrie, and it's not even close. Kyrie needs to worry about being able to play a full season. The durability that Iverson had was uncanny. The way he got beat up, the size he did night in and night out, the 4 scoring titles, the 30 points per game 4 times. Kyrie hasn't even averaged over 25 more than twice. So, I mean, I really don't think that Kyrie is on Iverson's level. He do got the title, but he did play with LeBron. So, yeah, I don't think Kyrie is on Iverson's level, and I think that's
disrespectful. He was a lot of help, too. He was a lot of help on the title, but
he was, but I think it's disrespectful for KD to say that.
So, I got the next one. Can Curry score 60 on any defender in the NBA? Stop it or go.
Oh, that's a go on. Curry was on Instagram with JaVale McGee, and JaVale McGee was asking him these questions, and he said he could score 60 on anybody. And JaVale McGee said he was shocked that he said that because he said Curry usually more modest. But the way he shoot the ball and his handle and the way he can get to the cup, yeah, if he gets on fire, he hits 15 threes in the game, that puts him at 45, then he gets to the bucket, hit his scoop layups and a couple free throws, yeah, Curry easily could score 60 on anybody, even if you play solid D with the way he can shoot the ball.
Yeah, Dag, man, we just agree, and I agree. I'm going to go on. Curry definitely can score 60 on any defender in the NBA. Like you said, his handle's nasty. His shot, to me, he's the best shooter ever. Definitely the best three-point shooter ever. His handle's top 3 in the league. So I definitely think he can score 60 on any defender. I left you a few seconds. What, you got anything else to say?
Well, no, he just could score 60 on any defender.
All right, let's
next topic. Klay is better than Ray Allen all time.
Stop it. I do think Klay is the second best shooter of all time.
I thought you was going to
say go on. I think Klay's a better shooter than Ray Allen, but no. Ray Allen definitely led them Seattle teams to the playoffs and stuff. Ray Allen was averaging 26, leading teams. He didn't win the title leading teams, so I will say that. Klay has more rings, but I think Ray Allen's better all time just because of what he did individually and stuff. Also, I will give Ray Allen, he does have 2 rings, but he wasn't the leader. He wasn't even the second best player. So right now I have Ray Allen over Klay, but I do think Klay a better shooter.
To me, Ray Allen is over Klay all time. It's not even Ray Allen do got 2 rings, even though he wasn't the best on the rings. It was kind of like him, KG, and Paul Pierce was all together. And then with the Heat,
you said stop it though.
He was role player. No, I said go on.
Oh, because, go on.
No, stop it. Stop it. Because Klay is not better than Ray Allen. And then we already know what Ray Allen did in Seattle and with the Bucks, averaging 28, almost 30. And the leader he was inside and out. He could shoot just like Klay, but he also could take it to the bucket and dunk on you ferociously. So they're not even the same sense. It's Ray Allen over Klay all day.
You went too far. But we gonna go to the next topic.
Ray Allen over Klay all day.
Led by Trae Young are the Hawks. Led by Trae Young, will Hawks become the Golden State of the East?
Led by Trae Young, that was a tricky question for me. Will they become Golden State of the East? I think they could become really good. Trae Young with his shooting ability, similar to Curry's. But that takes a leadership ability that I think is really underrated to Curry. Is Trae Young that? I don't know yet. From the looks of it, he can be that. But Curry was a different type of leader. I put him on the leader of the LeBron-esque for him to take Golden State to where he took. Because, I will say this. the young supporting cast that the Hawks is putting together with John Collins, your boy Capella, DeAndre Hunter is pretty good.
I'm gonna say stop it. Trae Young definitely he started off his career good. I'm gonna say stop it. I don't think the Hawks will be the Golden State of the East. I don't think they can win the title, but I do think they'll make the playoffs in a year or two for sure. And I think he could be an MVP caliber type player, but I think he'd be a second round out, maybe make one of these conference finals. But also, I'm tired of people saying like Trae Young better than Curry. He did start off his career better, but I don't think he's going to get to Curry's peak by winning the title, winning 2 MVP, winning unanimous MVP. But Trae Young is starting off his career better, but I'm going to say stop it.
All right, so the last topic. Someone in the NBA will score 100 points in the next 5 years.
I'm going to say stop it. I don't think that will ever be done again. Don't get me wrong. I'm not confident in my stop it because I do think somebody can possibly do it. Somebody can get hot. But I'm going to say stop it. That's hard to do. Kobe came the closest to 81, and he's the second best scorer of all time. So, man, I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. And I'm going to, with my time left, I'm going to name 3 players who possibly can do it. I'm going to say James Harden, Steph Curry, and I do think Devin Booker could get hot. There's probably some other players, and then my 3. Trae Young, too.
I'm gonna say in the next 5 years, I'm borderline. I'm gonna say go stop go because I really think that with the way 3-point shooting gets, somebody could get hot and we could see a 15 or 20 point 15 to 20 made threes in the game performance, and that gives you 60 points right there. Then who knows what the next 40 could be if you get hot from the field, get to the bucket, and who knows. With the way scoring is, it wouldn't be hard for me to see somebody scoring 100 points in the game. Do I think that is something that's just going to happen? No, but I do think, like you said, Booker, Curry, Harden, they had the Clay score 60 and 30-something minutes, so I do think that there is a few people that could challenge that and push the mold. So, yeah, that was the stop it and go on section. Those are some good topics today. Some little quick hitters for y'all, just something quick and light. See what y'all agree with. And that's the type of section where eventually we want y'all to tune into that section. And when we start going live and doing live podcasts, we can have live voting. So we'll purposely come up with topics that we disagree on, where y'all can vote on who y'all think had better points in the stop it or go on section. But when we do that, we might switch it to like 3 topics for that and make each one like a minute so we could get our valid points out. Then we'll have people do live voting and say, oh, Mike won that topic or Rob won that topic, because we probably won't hear a bunch of Mikes.
It'll mainly be me, but
it'll mainly be me. But yeah, that was that. We got that. That's all we got today for the sports talk. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit of sports in the real talk section because we do it all. We pretty versatile here, like we was talking about with the scores. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to the section that's for y'all, for the people, for the society, talking about some things that's going on social media and in the society, talking about things that's going on currently with the events and just this pandemic and everything, y'all. So the first question that I got that that throw out here for the real talk section would be, during this quarantine, do you think social media has been a positive thing or a negative thing? I would say for me, I think social media has been positive in the simple fact that we've been seeing people pay attention to the youth more, be with their kids at home, reach out to one another about different ways that they teach and different methods of teaching and certain subjects that they doing at home, enlighten people what their kids is doing, proud of the work that they actually getting to take time and see their kids doing. I think that's positive. I think the negative part comes into it, where people worried about people that's working or people that's getting unemployment that's not getting paid. There's always got to be something about the money, or people posting their money, because these stimulus checks and stuff came out and people posting how much they got and people saying, don't go get all this money off and say you got a bankroll, so that's why I think it could become negative. I do think I've been seeing down my timeline more positive behavior, though, where like I said, people encouraging one another to try to get through this and being a positive light, like I said, and bringing a positive light to the youth. So what would you say? What would your social media experience be during this quarantine, during this pandemic?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say more negative because I've definitely been seeing positive things, but I'm gonna say more negative. I need to calm down on my social media intake. I have been
on social media too much. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I'm not on Facebook as much as you or Snapchat anymore, but I'm on Facebook and Twitter. The negative things I've been seeing, like if somebody, say for instance, somebody give 1 million, like Kylie Jenner gave like some 1 million. People just, I don't mess with Kardashian like that, but people's been OC like that's all she give, that's all she gave. Her net worth is blah blah blah. It's like okay, I get what you're saying,
you can't control people's
to me,
pockets.
I don't count her pockets. She gave 1 million. Like somebody said, how much you give? I know you don't make as much as her, but how much you give? Just because you make less, I mean you can't give.
Because even if you made like 2,000, did you give 200?
Did you give? Like I'm saying. So to me, I just see negative stuff like that, and then I saw something where I'm on people lives like Instagram. I've been looking at a lot of Instagram live lately.
Yeah, I'll be looking at those too.
Last night was a good one with Quinn Cook. He had all the real hoopers in there, but I've been just Instagram live and people just I feel like I was looking at Mazika's on Love and Hip Hop. She was just telling people just being negative, hating on it and stuff. I'm like, it was a lot. She was getting a lot of support too, so I'm not gonna lie. People saying she beautiful. She was getting a lot of support. People just hating on her. I'm like, dang, y'all need to chill. They were just saying about her. She was talking to somebody about her baby daddy situation. I'm like, it was just negative comments, like people saying you trapped him, stop it. You don't love hip hop. You ain't making real money. Just like chill, y'all. Let her have her. On her live, it's just like people need to be so negative about things. So what? She didn't give a lot of money and she make a lot of money. Just stuff like that hurts me, and that's the negativity I don't like. But it is positivity. I will say that.
No, I agree with you on that point with the negativity, and that's what I'm saying. That's what people always worried about the wrong things during a pandemic. They worried about how much money did people give to help. It's just like okay, right now nobody knows what's going on, so any amount of money is good. But people not looking at stuff like that. They counting people's pockets and stuff.
Like say, how much have you given?
Yeah, how much have you given? Have you given 10% of your net worth? Whether Kylie Jenner gave 10% or whatever she gave,
real.
Have you gave 5%, 10%? And if no, then you can't come at people. That's why I never get into people's pockets. But yeah, people on social media, some people trying to be noticed too during this time too. So whatever they can do to be noticed. But yeah, I mean, I really think that, you got to weed that out. But I'm glad I have been seeing what I've been seeing. And I have been seeing the negative stuff too.
I've been seeing
like
positive
a lot of negative stuff too. But I'm glad I've been kind of seeing in this times the more positive things I've been seeing. I'm glad I've been seeing that because we don't usually see that on social media. Like people talking about it. Everyday occurrence was what's going on in their house. It's kind of like, you got cameras in people's house in a way when they telling these stories about what their kids doing, what they doing as a family and things like that. And to stay on this quarantine topic, what do you think they'll need to happen after this quarantine for things to get back to status quo when this quarantine is over? Or do you think things can get back to status quo once the quarantine is over? What do you think life is going to be like once this is over?
Man, I listen to Brilliant Idiots, Charlamagne and Andrew Schultz, they podcast. Shout out to them. I listen to their podcast, man. And I agree with them. Things going to be different. I don't know what it'll be different, but I think things just going to be a little different. I think people go be more self-caring about things and just like, I don't know, maybe wash your hands more, maybe being more, I would say just more clean about things. And I don't know, they may not be, but I do think people will look at things different. Like it's going to be tough going to games and stuff. All these people, it's going to be weird because we've been down for about a month, almost 2 months. A lot of people lost money, businesses hit. And I don't know. I just think Charlamagne and them said it's going to be, I think stuff going to change. I don't know what it is though. It's crazy, but things won't be the same.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be, I think when stuff get back to normal and we be able to go out, I think I've been seeing a lot of people say they're going to go out right away. It's going to be like a big party. I honestly think people are going to be reserved, like you said, to go out right away. Like people going to be like, we don't know if it's really done or if they just saying this to make more money. I think people.
And there will be people throwing parties and stuff.
But I think people going to be skeptical. I don't think a lot of people going to go out as like they say they is. I think they're going to be skeptical first. So I think it's going to be a slow transition. And then things, once we start seeing more things that was normal to us, like sports being back, events coming back and stuff, then I think it'll ramp up where people will start coming out.
Back to normal,
but I do think it's gonna be like that awkward situation, like if you broke up with a girlfriend or something, and y'all both had
like 4 months,
and y'all both had an event together. Y'all first event being there in the same event after y'all just broke up. I think it's gonna be like that when we first get back.
I think things get back to normal in about 6 to 9 months. About 2021, things that we'll get back to our regular lives, people working, not caring about certain things.
We just get done in 2020. But I think the main thing is, once the pandemic is over, though, to answer the question, I think the main thing people need to do is live their life like they lived before. Right now, we are off work. We haven't been working. Some of us been working from home, but then we just got to get back into the routine of it. And the way you do that is right now you got to keep your mind busy. You got to stay busy. Like I'm glad we've been really getting into the podcast now because it's helping us keep a sense of of busy. I know it's helping me keep a sense of urgency, daily, weekly, promoting and doing all this other stuff. So it's just something that you got to do to, when things get back there, that you could be as normal as possible.
Agree.
I think that's going to help you get back into the flow of things a lot quicker if you're more normal. Try to be as routine as possible.
Agree.
In what you do. You know, whether it's work, the way you get up, the way you sleep, the way you eat, you know, any of those things that you could do to be as closely, as routinely as possible to being productive. I think that's what it's going to take, but I also think it's going to take us coming hand in hand and banding together to stop this thing and everybody using each other's energy, playing off each other's energy to get going. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what everything going to be like. Do I think it'll be different? Yes, I think it will be different, but I think it's going to be like everything else. You know, I think it's going to be different for a small period of time, but I think some people in this country going to forget what they need to be doing, because I've seen a few people that haven't washed their hands now, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. But, you know, we shall see what's going to come here in the next few months. I'm real interested. God willing, I'm real interested to see what these next few months hold on for us as a society and as a country in general. Because right now, you know, you got a lot of people that's in the air about this. Some people not hopeful, some people hopeful, some people just worry, some people don't think nothing going on don't think nothing going on at all. I'm kind of in the middle, so you know, it's a lot going on right now. But like I said, with time heals all wounds, and we'll get through it. But yeah, enough about the quarantine talk. You know, we still quarantined doing our thing over here. But let's move on to another topic, kind of a topic that we need to talk about that I can't believe we haven't talked about yet. And I just wanted to ask you, do you think it's fair that in the media and just in the general public's eye, do you think it's fair that marijuana gets the negative connotation that it receives?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair. I think it get the negative connotation it gets. I don't like it. Is because what alcohol is, alcohol stores like liquor stores are essential stores, and that's crazy to me. Like, yeah. I don't mind people drinking and stuff, but that's an essential store. It's like, man, what is this country coming to? But marijuana get a negative, like you said, negative connotation with just. I feel like it is it's normal. People think that negative is negative for marijuana. Don't get me wrong, the smokers don't think it's negative, but I feel like within like upper in the government, they think it's just bad. That's why it's not federally legal yet. It's legal in some states, but I do think people are starting to get to the point where it's like it'll be federally legal soon, and it won't be a big deal like at 20 years past. But right now, I don't like the negative connotation it gets, because like why does it get a negative thing? Like why? Why do you think so?
Yeah, you know, I think it gets a negative connotation because, you know, people know the truth, you know, and when the government monetized alcohol back in the Prohibition days, we know what it did back then. So, you know, alcohol kills more people than anything. Marijuana is a drug that most people usually do. Not even a drug, it's a natural herb, but marijuana is something that usually bring people together. You know, people usually do it and relax, and people usually do it in their homes with their family and their friends. You know, they equate it with some young people that's already going to go out and do some violent stuff that's doing marijuana, but they don't mention that they was already drunk off the Hennessy, Cavassier, and stuff like that before a drive-by happened.
You could bring up bad situations for both.
You know, before people getting drunk and people losing their family and losing their houses, you rarely hear people doing that through marijuana, but you hear people losing their families, their jobs, their whole livelihood based off of alcohol. So, I mean, I think that, yeah, marijuana gets a bogus connotation because they also equate it with, let's just be honest, with the black culture. They create smoking weed with rap music and all this gangster stuff.
Yeah.
So it gets a lot of that negative connotation as well, too. But I think that people need to just chill and relax because marijuana doesn't hinder you. I mean, I have no problem with saying I work multiple jobs. I do a lot of things, and yes, I've dabbled in my personal time, and I'll smoke here and there, and I do my thing, and it doesn't affect me at all because it doesn't hinder me from doing anything where I just can't sit there and be like, oh, before this or that,
I'm responsible with it. You're responsible.
I'm a drink and no, I don't even drink that much. I do that occasionally too. I do everything in moderation, and I think that plays on moderation. Yep, and I think that plays on the type of outcome you will have when you do certain things versus drinking a whole bottle and saying, oh, he was belligerent. Yeah, that's probably because he had a whole bunch of alcohol in him. Or you had a whole bunch of drugs in you. That's probably why you act the way you act. So, yeah, it's just funny to me how we get the negative connotation. But I'm happy that we started making progress to it. On a sports-related note, the MLB took away marijuana testing, so they can't even test you no more for marijuana. And
Al Harrington trying to get it with NBA taking away also.
And Chantrell Henderson, our own from Minnesota, he got that lawsuit against him because he got that Crohn's disease, and his doctor prescribed to say he had to take marijuana for his disease. And then the Buffalo Bills, I think when he played for Buffalo, they suspended him because he had to smoke marijuana. And now the NFL's got a big lawsuit on their hands, and the NFL is close to not testing for marijuana too, I believe. Because now people are just starting to see that there's a lot of well put together individuals that smoke marijuana or smoke weed, and they are a benefit to society, they are a help to society, and they're not a menace to society. So the negative connotation it gets is, it's just media based, them spewing rhetoric about knowing the truth and doing, and like I said, doing what they need to do to divide the public. Those who don't, to look down on the people of those who do, to make it seem like they wrong about the situation. Speaking of the media or government or whatever entity, let's go on to another topic that I feel like during this pandemic has come into question. I feel like, because I feel like sometimes they giving us all this stuff, but we getting shut out to a lot of information too at the same time. Do you think that citizens in the United States need an increase in access to resources? And when I say increase in access to resources, so you shouldn't have to pay memberships to be at the library for a library card. You should be allowed to go to your museums and stuff like that for free. Do you really think that citizens need more availability and access to different resources where you can obtain knowledge? Do you think that that's something or do you think that we have enough of that right now? Or do you think there should be more of that?
It definitely should be more. We definitely need more resources. I definitely feel like, especially education, you definitely allocate the funds a lot better, maybe to even pay teachers more, and maybe just give kids more. I don't know what it is to give kids. You're in the district, Minneapolis district, so you know more than me. I used to be in there, but
we got budget cuts crazy, crazy. For
and being able to pay AEs and teacher agents, and being able to pay teachers more, so they won't go on strike like they did in St. Paul, and also give you the resources to able to have maybe tutors and stuff, being able to have maybe the best equipment. And I know Minneapolis, you guys got iPads and stuff.
Yep.
Just kids get iPads. I know at Eastview, my little brothers, they go to Eastview and stuff. I don't know if they get laptops.
iPads they starting to move more towards the tablets, Chromebooks, iPads, those type of things. That's what most schools are starting to do.
But definitely, I pay more AEs and stuff because you need help. You need those. Some people need that tutor and that one-on-one.
Yeah.
And definitely pay teachers more. Teachers definitely need to take accountability also to not just getting a check and being able to teach those kids go above beyond your job and teach the youth. It don't teach the youth no matter what race, age. Be able to just teach the next generation. And we definitely need more resources. And I'm more going the financial side because resources more than the economic part of it. But to me, that's the main thing, because people got to learn. We need to learn stuff. We need to be able to have more resources to pay more people so people can get into this field because we need it. What is your take on this?
I'm gonna be short and sweet on this one because I agree with you. I think that, like you said, outside of just the economic fund, I think yes, we need more of it, more access to resources, because you see other countries that give their citizens access to resources, like kids having after school programs to go to where they can not only get help with homework, but then they can join activities, learn activities. Like you said, learn a skill, learn a trade at an early age.
Yeah.
Where if they had access to go to the Y without having to pay a membership, parents could work a little bit longer, where they know their kids will be around mentors, their kids will be around a lot of well-taken people, and a lot of well taking care of people. They'll be in their care. They'll probably get a meal. I know we do that in Minneapolis public schools where kids get a meal, and if they do after school programs, they get a dinner meal, like that. So that's a pretty cool thing to do for the kids. But even further, for citizens of adults, we should have more access to certain things. I feel like I said, our museums, our local government, we should be able to come in on those means. I feel like all of those should be public. I feel like we should have access to mostly all public records and documents, or any records that was ever in the court. We should have access to it if it's in our community, because I feel like that's why people are shut off to learning, is because we got to be, they say, oh, in order to access this file, you have to have this credential, you have to have this qualification. That's what turns people off, is because people like, man, I got to do this all in the day. I don't have time to go do this. Whereas if they just knock down some of these qualifications and knock down some of these walls and open up some of these resources, then I think you will see a lot more people willing to learn a lot more to help become a productive society versus counting on somebody else to do it. I just was reading this article about the group FEMA and how FEMA got backlash because FEMA was so worried about 9/11 and the response to Katrina was halted and people felt like FEMA didn't help that much. And that's what I'm saying. We pay taxes. We put these programs in place for them to keep telling us, giving us excuse after excuse on why they don't come to our aid. No, we need to hold them more accountable, and we need more resources for our people to be able to progress and get further as a people. So I do feel like that's something that need to be talked about, especially like we was talking about earlier after this pandemic. That's something that we need to talk about, because right now the people who are in control, they don't even know what's going on. So if they gave us more access to information and to resources, everybody could be on the front line trying to do a little bit more help instead of waiting on people to try to figure it out. The more heads that you got to figure it out, the quicker we could probably get through a lot of problems and solve a lot of issues and save some lives. But it seems like nowadays people don't care about saving lives. They just care about saving dollars.
I agree. Allocating the funds is big too. I want to know where those funds going, because you know they can.
You know where they going. They going straight to their penthouses, to their pockets, to their kids, to their kids, to their next generations. That's why they're going to be wealthy rich. And now that we're on topic, this is an easy segue to the last section, last topic that we got today. Do you think that college athletes should be compensated?
I think they do, man. You know who changed the game, low key? LeVar Ball. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute, but I think they should be compensated. People say, oh, they get a scholarship. Yes, they should get paid on top of that. Now, I don't agree with some people. I know the school make millions, but I don't think they should get paid as much as NBA players millions. I know they make money, but I don't think they a brand like NBA players stuff. But I do think they should get paid like everybody on the college athletes. Even on the football team, maybe get $1,000 a week every 2 weeks, maybe $1,000 every 2 weeks on top of your scholarship, a stipend, so they can really just focus on their sport in school. You don't have to worry about maybe some will stay a little longer for the sports, maybe 2 years instead of worrying about that million. You will still get paid. You won't get paid the millions, but you'll be able to live, pay your bills, and still hoop and not stress about it. They can afford it. Football, basketball, baseball, I do think
they can afford it, especially with the TV contracts. Yeah. And I was on the same length you on. I was about to say $2,000 a month, making like a regular job for them to show them.
Dude, I said $1,000 a week.
No, but I'm saying $2,000 a month and $1,000 every 2 weeks, or $1,000, or you could do $1,500 every 2 weeks.
Do you think they should get paid? Like
a paycheck, because you.
No, I'm saying you think they should get paid like NBA players, because the schools make a lot of money.
I think they should get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Yes, $1,500 every 2 weeks,
like
or $1,000 every week. No, not like that. I know schools make millions for the TV contracts, but you also getting the full ride, and some of these schools are $20,000, $30,000 a year.
Pay them a little stipend,
and you don't have the expenses the NBA player have. You can live on campus and live for free. You just got to worry about food, and mainly you got to worry about having money on the road. But y'all also get them out at home games, so y'all ain't on the road as much. Y'all see only 40 games.
I will say this too. So if people are stupid with their money and spend that $2,000 quick, that's their fault.
Or I would say anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. It could be $1,000 every 2 weeks, or $1,500 every 2 weeks, and that's about $36,000, and that'll be for the year, because college students is not just bound for the season. They got to be there early in the summer. They got to be there during the summer months, so they would get that throughout the school year. So they would get that throughout the calendar year. And that would be what, $3,600 $3,000 a player times 12. That's what, $36,000 per player. That's nothing
for basketball. Football would be more like
especially
50.
When they're making like $80 million off of TV contracts.
Football would be about $150,000.
But yeah.
What, 3,000 times 50? But yeah, 150,000.
But I'm saying, and especially when they making $80 million, they making billions off of TV contracts alone.
I forget what Sauce was. Do you agree?
So yeah, I think they should definitely be compensated. And then we saw that documentary, Going Broke. A lot of NBA players go broke because they get all this money out of nowhere, and they don't know how to spend it. If you give a college kid $1,500 every 2 weeks, $3,000 a month. If they could save that, they could start saving that amount, because that's how much you're gonna get in the NBA.
Don't go crazy with it. You're gonna
start getting about like $20,000 amount. So can you save $3,000 in a month? Can you save $1,500 every 2 weeks? And that probably will help you. That will probably decrease the problems that we see at the next level of people going broke.
Do you think they should get paid fairly? Like somebody was saying, like Zion should get the most on the team because he's bringing in basically the most revenue. Do you agree with that?
Because he also is a freshman too. You don't know. Some people might be higher classmen. They got a higher load of class. classes. You never know. I think they all should get paid a fixed rate. They all college students.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a full ride student, if you're not a full ride student, then you really should get paid. But I really think that they should all get paid a fixed rate. It shouldn't be.
I agree. It
somebody
shouldn't
get
be in the
paid more
mirrors,
than
but it
not,
definitely should be about
because at that
$2,000,
point,
$3,000 a month.
You recruiting, you already feel special that they recruited you to come there. Don't make these kids separate by paying Zion hundreds of dollars more. You know, so yeah, I really think that they should compensate these kids, and that's another thing that the Fab Five started when they said they did protest back in the 90s when they saw Nike have on their socks Fab Five
selling their jerseys,
saw shirts and
Chris
jerseys, and they
Webber
weren't getting no
selling
money. So that's another thing, man. These players is going, and like you said, LeVar Ball is trying to start up some stuff, so they better get into.
What college players went to the G League? A top college
Yeah,
player.
I saw that.
I mean, a top high school player went to the G League.
Yeah, I just saw that. They say he's skipping by college and he looking to play pro ball.
What G League players make about what 60, 70,000 a year?
They probably make it.
Maybe
some of them probably
figures.
make it. Yeah, some of them making 100,000s.
I do that just to hoop.
So yeah, I mean, they better get something. NCAA better figure something out, especially in a time like this where these kids didn't even get to play in a tournament or something. I think they need to start to figure something out where these kids need to be compensated and taken care of, because how they living during this pandemic right now, that they sport got washed away and then now they just at home, and are they getting their stipend, or can they eat, or did they have to go back home to their families?
And like I said, we can't have it both ways either. No, I'm talking about like if kids spend their money.
Oh yeah,
it'd be stupid. They shouldn't get no more. You get the fixed rate. You
get the fixed rate. You get it 2 times a week. You get that better last, or you better ball.
Like you said, you don't have that much expenses because we're not getting paid. You're not getting paid anyway now. So
and when you
don't have crazy expenses. If you incur more expenses, that's your fault. Like,
and when they on the road, they usually come back to the dorm like that next day.
They can't go to strip club like that. Yeah. You can pay your phone bill, maybe get a nice iPhone, pay a nice bill, but don't go crazy about like hella PS4s and stuff, buying hella shoes and stuff. Save your money because you're not getting paid now. Save your money. You can splurge a little bit, go out to the bar and stuff, but be smart with your money. $2,000 is a lot of money for a college with no expenses.
Every 2 weeks, especially if you're getting that every
that's what I'm saying.
month.
And you just hooping. You got a full ride, no school loans.
That's the life right there. So yeah, man, that's just something I think that they should start to do for all college athletes. And also, while we on this college train, I want to give a shout out to my little big cousin, DeAndre Golson. He went to high school in Indiana at 21st Century.
Milwaukee? He going to Milwaukee, right?
Yep, he went to high school at 21st Century, balled out there. Got a lot of records there, got a lot of accomplishments there, got recruited to Kent State. It didn't work out for him there. Kids, don't ever give up. He got a cool article that I shared on Facebook. Go check it out. He talked about how you just put your head down and you get to work.
CJ McCollum didn't give up.
I want to give a shout out to
didn't give up.
Because he left a Division I, took the JUCO route at Tallahassee, and then now he like Big Bro just said, he got an offer to the University of Milwaukee. So this season he gonna be a Panther, eligible to play right away. So and that's my blood cousin right there. So shout out to my cousin DeAndre Golson, our cousin. That's my cousin on my dad's side, but that's also Big Bro family. So shout out to DeAndre. Shout out to little big cousin.
Keep working on your game. You can still go to the league. You can go to G League first, but try to go to the league. Be in the draft. Maybe you'll see you a top 5
from
pick.
the family. Don't
put in work.
To do that, you gotta be dope.
Put in work. You gotta put in up your 1,000 shots a day.
And also too, before we go, I know everybody dealing with this pandemic in a way. This past week we had a couple deaths. One was due to the pandemic. We want to say rest in peace to Karl Anthony Towns' mom.
Yeah, rest in peace,
Towns. Man. Jacqueline Towns, rest in peace to her. Karl Anthony Towns is a part of the same community we live in here in Minneapolis, the Twin Cities, and we go to Timberwolves games. We support, and he support the community a lot. We see him out there. He just a good-hearted dude. So, rest in peace to Jacqueline Towns, and also rest in peace to former Vikings quarterback,
he died in a car crash, right?
Backup quarterback in Alabama died in a car crash last week, Tavares Jackson. So we also want to say, or earlier this week, so we also want to say rest in peace to him as well too. Brotherly differences, give our love and condolences and send out prayers to those families and things like that, and to anybody else who's been affected during the pandemic. It was breaking news that my guy Von Miller got tested positive for coronavirus today. Yeah, so prayers to everybody, man. Stay safe. Keep your hands clean. Keep y'all faces clean. Keep your family clean, and just
stay in the house more than often.
Man, yeah, and attack any of your goals that you had to do. You know, this should be a time, like I said, the quicker that we all stay in routine and we all focus on doing what we have been doing, the quicker we'll be able to hit the ground running as soon as this thing is over, y'all. So one thing we do, like we said, listen, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, we getting out there, y'all. We
Give
showing
us
y'all
topics
we
to
out
talk
here.
about. Give us topics to talk
Give
about,
us,
man.
give us
Support.
topics to talk about. We out here and we gonna be here, and we appreciate y'all, the ones that rock with us, the ones that comment on us, the ones that challenge us into what we talk about.
You
the ones that
disagree,
listen to
tell us.
So yeah, we appreciate y'all, man, and it's fun. One more episode, and then we gonna be going to iTunes possibly. So that's big for us. So
Hopefully
check
they
out
can
for
accept
that.
us. Yep, accept us.
Look out for
yeah.
that. But we still gonna be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and then just iTunes, so another platform. So yeah, like I said, listen, like, share, subscribe.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Watch The Last Dance on.
Oh yeah, the last
April
dance air on
19th.
Sunday. This Sunday.
This
Yep.
Sunday.
We gonna talk about that next week. We gonna talk about part 1 on Thursday's show. That's gonna be a part of our show.
Bron fans gonna nitpick it, but
And also watch the next Thursday. We're gonna have a show right before it. Watch the NFL draft. That's next Thursday as well too.
yeah, I need to start reading up on that.
NFL
I don't know
draft
who
is
the
next
I don't know who the
Thursday.
Bears gonna draft. We don't got a first round pick, but we
y'all
got
don't-
a second round.
Yeah, next Thursday. So we gonna have something different for y'all next Thursday. Y'all gonna see. I'm
Oh
ready
yeah,
for
the
next
draft,
Thursday.
man.
Yeah, so yeah, hey, we appreciate y'all with listening to us. Check it out, episode 5, and this is the brother saying peace and a whole lot of hair grease.
Peace.